The thing about success is that it doesn't always wear a designer suit or sit in a corner office. Sometimes it works from a home office in comfortable clothes, building an empire that nobody sees until it's too late to pretend they supported you all along. My name is Sarah Chen, and I've spent the last 5 years listening to my family mock my career choices while secretly building one of the most sought-after software development firms in Silicon Valley. But let me start from the beginning. Still playing with your little website projects? My sister Lisa asked, expertly cutting her Wagyu steak at our weekly family dinner. She'd just been promoted to VP of Technology at Chen Industries, our family's traditional tech manufacturing company, the same company that had rejected my modernization proposals 3 years ago. Something like that, I replied, used to her condescension. At 32, Lisa was the golden child. Stanford MBA, perfect corporate trajectory, exactly what our parents had always wanted. I was the disappointment who'd quit my stable corporate job to freelance at 28. Mom sighed dramatically, setting down her wine glass. Sarah, honey, when are you going to get serious about your career? Look at your sister, executive position, company car, full benefits, and you're still, what do you call it? Freelancing. I caught Dad's eye across the table. He at least seemed curious rather than dismissive, though he rarely spoke up against Mom and Lisa's unified front. Actually, I said, spearing a piece of asparagus, I've been pretty busy lately. Just landed a major contract with. Oh. Lisa interrupted, perfectly manicured hands flying to her mouth in exaggerated excitement. That reminds me. Dad, we just signed a huge deal with Riverside Manufacturing, $10 million in new equipment orders. And just like that, the conversation swung back to Lisa's achievements, Chen Industries' growth, and the family legacy I was apparently neglecting. I didn't bother mentioning that my latest contract was worth twice that amount, or that the little website projects they mocked had evolved into Quantum Solutions, a company that now employed 50 people and had a waiting list of Fortune 500 clients. They didn't know I owned Quantum Solutions, of course. I'd kept my name out of the press, using my Chinese name, Chen Weiming, on all official documents. The tech world knew Quantum Solutions was run by a mysterious CEO who never gave interviews but consistently delivered cutting-edge software solutions that transformed struggling companies into digital powerhouses. After dinner, I escaped to the kitchen to help Mom with dishes, more to avoid Lisa's latest stories about her corporate triumphs than from any real domestic inclination. I worry about you, Mom said, handing me a plate to dry. Living alone in that apartment, no real career progression. You're not getting any younger, you know. I thought about my penthouse condo overlooking the bay, bought with cash from my company's first major contract. The apartment they knew about was just a decoy, a modest rental I kept for appearances and occasional client meetings. I'm doing fine, Mom, really. Fine isn't good enough for a Chen, she replied. Your father built this family's reputation from nothing. Lisa understands that. She's preserving the legacy. I bit back a response about how that legacy was rapidly becoming outdated in the modern tech landscape. Chen Industries still focused on hardware manufacturing when the real money and innovation was in software and digital transformation. My phone buzzed. A message from Marcus, my COO. Google contract confirmed. $25 million over 18 months. They want to announce next week. I smiled, tucking the phone away. Another victory they'd never know about. What are you smirking at? Lisa asked, swanning into the kitchen. Another one of your freelance jobs. What is it this time? Fixing someone's WordPress site. 5 years ago, her words would have stung. Now they just amuse me. While she was climbing the corporate ladder at our family's increasingly obsolete company, I was revolutionizing how Fortune 500 companies handled digital transformation. Something like that, I said mildly. How's the new project at Chen Industries going? Lisa launched into a detailed explanation of their latest manufacturing expansion, not noticing Mom's pointed looks at my casual clothes and unmanicured nails. Signs of what they saw as my lack of professionalism. Later that night, in my real home office overlooking the city lights, I reviewed Quantum's latest projects. We'd grown exponentially in the past 2 years, earning a reputation for turning struggling traditional businesses into digital leaders. Our waiting list for new clients was months long, and we could charge premium prices because our solutions worked. Marcus's face appeared on my screen for our nightly review call. Another fun family dinner. The usual, I said, pulling up our project dashboard. Lisa got promoted again. Mom's worried about my lack of career prospects. You know, normal Tuesday stuff. He laughed, shaking his head. If they only knew. Speaking of knowing things, Chen Industries just requested a consultation. I sat up straighter. What? Came in this afternoon. Seems they're finally realizing they need to modernize. Their market share dropped 15% last quarter. Lisa's promotion might not be as golden as she thinks. I pulled up the request form. There it was, Chen Industries seeking comprehensive digital transformation services. The irony was almost too perfect. They can't afford us, I said, checking their public financials. Not at our usual rates. They're offering equity as part of the payment. Seems they're desperate. I leaned back, thinking. 3 years ago, I tried to convince Dad and Lisa that Chen Industries needed to evolve. I presented a detailed modernization plan, drawing on my experience in software development and digital innovation. They dismissed it as naive and impractical. Put them on the calendar, I decided. But not for 3 weeks. Let's see how desperate they get. You're going to reveal yourself? Marcus asked. Not yet. Let's see what they're really offering first. After ending the call, I stood at my window, watching fog roll in over the bay. In my reflection, I saw not the casually dressed freelancer my family mocked, but the CEO who'd built a company valued at over $300 million. The contrast between their perception and reality had long since stopped bothering me. My phone buzzed. Another message from Lisa. Hey little sis, since you're good with computers, think you could look at my laptop this weekend? Been running slow lately. I smiled, thinking of the irony. Her company was about to beg mine for help with digital transformation, and she thought I was just good for basic tech support. Sorry, busy with work, I replied. Right, you're freelancing. Don't work too hard, lol. I set the phone down and turned to my dual monitors, where project reports and client updates scrolled past. Somewhere in those streams of data was the future of technology, a future I was helping to build while my family remained stuck in the past. The next few weeks would change everything. Chen Industries would discover they needed quantum solutions help to survive in the modern tech landscape. They'd learned that the daughter they'd dismissed had built exactly what they now desperately needed. But first, they had to understand just how much trouble they were really in. And I have front row seats to watch it all unfold. The crisis at Chen Industries hit faster than even I expected. 2 weeks after they requested a consultation with Quantum Solutions, their biggest client announced they were switching to a more digitally integrated supplier. Chen Industries stock dropped 20% in a single day. I watched it unfold from my office, monitoring their increasingly desperate attempts to stop the bleeding. Lisa called an emergency board meeting. But their proposed solutions, better hardware, faster manufacturing, lower prices, missed the real problem entirely. They still don't get it, Marcus said during our morning briefing. Their whole business model is obsolete. Companies don't just want hardware anymore, they want integrated digital solutions. Exactly what I told them 3 years ago, I replied, reviewing the latest market reports. How's their consultation request looking? They've called 4 times this week trying to move it up. Their CEO, your father, even tried pulling strings with some board members to jump the queue. I smiled, remembering Dad's dismissive tone when I presented my modernization plan. Keep them scheduled for next week. And Marcus, I think it's time we showed them exactly what they're up against. That afternoon, Quantum Solutions announced a partnership with Chen Industries' former biggest client, a complete digital transformation project worth $50 million. The news hit the business wires just as my family was gathering for another weekly dinner. Lisa burst through the front door of our parents' house, face flushed with anger. Did you see this? She demanded, waving her tablet at Dad. They're working with Quantum Solutions. That's why they dropped us. Dad took the tablet, frowning as he read. Mom peered over his shoulder, her usual poise slipping. But who are these people? I've never even heard of them. Nobody has, Lisa snapped. They're incredibly private. No public CEO, no media presence, just a track record of stealing clients from traditional tech companies and turning them digital. I busied myself setting the table, hiding my amusement. If they only knew they were discussing my company over Mom's best china. We need them, Dad said finally, setting down the tablet. Lisa, what do they say about our consultation request? Nothing. They're making us wait 3 weeks just for an initial meeting. Do you know what their fees are? It's highway robbery. We don't have a choice, Dad replied heavily. Without digital integration, we'll lose every major client within 6 months. Mom turned to me, probably hoping to change the subject from the family company's troubles. Sarah, honey, how's your computer work going? Before I could answer, Lisa laughed sharply. Who cares? We're about to lose the company, and you're asking about Sarah's freelance projects. Something snapped inside me. 5 years of condescension, of dismissal, of watching them ignore reality while I built the very solution they needed. It was enough. Actually, I said quietly, business is excellent. In fact, I pulled up an email on my phone and showed it to Lisa. I just closed a $50 million contract this morning. She glanced at the screen, then did a double take, her face going pale. This is from Quantum Solutions. To their project lead for the Anderson account. Our former biggest client. Read the signature, I suggested. Chen Wai-ming, CEO, Quantum Solutions. Lisa looked up, confusion turning to shock. But that's your Chinese name. Mom dropped her fork. Dad stood up so quickly his chair fell backward. Lisa couldn't seem to finish the sentence. The CEO of Quantum Solutions, the company you've been desperately trying to hire. The one that just signed your biggest former client. I smiled. Yes, to all of the above. The silence that followed was deafening. Mom had her hand pressed to her chest. Dad was staring at me like he'd never seen me before. Lisa looked like she might faint. But you're just a freelancer, she stammered. You work from home. You fix websites. That's what you chose to see, I replied calmly. You never asked what I was actually building. None of you did. You were too busy measuring success by corner offices and corporate titles to notice I was creating the future you're now desperate to buy. Dad found his voice first. Why didn't you tell us? Would you have believed me? 3 years ago, I tried to tell you Chen Industries needed to evolve. You dismissed everything I said. So instead of arguing, I built what you needed. And now we have to pay you to save our company, Lisa finished, looking sick. No, I said, standing up. Now you have to convince me it's worth saving. I walked to the window, looking out at the city skyline where Quantum's real offices dominated the tech district. For 5 years, I've listened to you mock my choices, dismiss my success, treat me like a failure. The whole time, I was building a company that's now worth more than Chen Industries ever was. Want to know the best part? Every single thing Quantum Solutions does is based on that modernization plan you rejected 3 years ago. Mom started to say something, but I held up my hand. I'm not finished. Tomorrow morning, you have a choice to make. You can swallow your pride and work with Quantum Solutions. Work with me to bring Chen Industries into the modern era. Or you can keep clinging to the past and watch it all slip away. But understand this, if we work together, it's as equals. No more condescension, no more dismissal, no more pretending I'm just playing at business while Lisa does the real work. You let the family company fail? Mom asked, horrified. I'd let an obsolete business model fail, I corrected. The question is whether you're ready to admit it needs to change. Dad walked over to his office and returned with a familiar folder, my original modernization proposal from 3 years ago. I kept it, he said quietly. Read it again last week, after our stock crashed. You saw all of this coming, didn't you? The industry's been moving this way for years, I replied. I just chose to ride the wave instead of fighting it. Lisa stood up, smoothing her designer suit with trembling hands. How much is Quantum Solutions worth now? Latest valuation, just over $300 million. We have a 3-month waiting list for new clients, contracts with half the Fortune 500, and a development team that's revolutionizing how traditional companies handle digital transformation. I pause, letting that sink in. Still think I should get a real job like yours. The next morning, I arrived at Quantum's offices early. The Chen Industries consultation was scheduled for 10 a.m., and I wanted everything perfect. My team had prepared a comprehensive presentation on their vulnerabilities and our proposed solutions. At 9:55, Marcus buzzed my office. They're here. All of them. Your father, sister, and the entire board. Conference room A, I instructed. Let them wait a few minutes. At 10 a.m. exactly, I walked into the conference room. Lisa's jaw dropped at my appearance. Gone were the casual clothes they were used to, replaced by CEO-appropriate attire that probably cost more than her entire wardrobe. "Welcome to Quantum Solutions," I began, taking my place at the head of the table. "You're here because your company is failing. Your technology is outdated, your processes are inefficient, and your understanding of modern digital integration is about 5 years behind the market. The good news is we can fix that. The question is, are you ready to listen?" Dad nodded slowly. Lisa stared at her hands. The board members leaned forward, eager to hear more. For the next 2 hours, I laid out exactly what Chen Industries needed to do to survive. Every point was backed by data, every solution proven by Quantum's track record. By the end, even Lisa was taking notes. "The contract is on your tablets," I concluded. "Our standard fees apply, no family discount. You have 24 hours to decide." "Sarah," Dad said as the others filed out, "I am sorry for not seeing what you were building, for not believing in you." "I don't need your apology, Dad. I need you to understand that the business world has changed. The question is whether Chen Industries will change with it." They signed the contract the next day. Over the next year, Quantum Solutions transformed Chen Industries from a struggling hardware manufacturer into a digital innovation leader. Our integrated solutions platform, combined with their manufacturing expertise, created something neither company could have achieved alone. Lisa eventually admitted that my little freelance projects had taught me more about modern business than her MBA. She now heads Chen Industries' digital division, working closely with my team at Quantum. Mom still sometimes sighs about my unorthodox path, but she's framed every article about Quantum's success in the business press. The best part? Family dinners are actually pleasant now. Instead of mockery and condescension, there's respect and genuine interest in each other's work. Last week, Lisa even asked my advice about starting her own software company. "How do you build something so big without anyone noticing?" she wondered. I smiled, remembering all those dismissive comments about my little projects. "You do it one line of code at a time, one client at a time, while everyone else is too busy looking for success in corner offices to see it growing right in front of them." Dad stepped back from day-to-day operations, proudly watching both his daughters lead their companies into the future. Chen Industries and Quantum Solutions are now strategic partners, combining traditional manufacturing with cutting-edge digital innovation. My office still has the best view in the city, but now everyone knows who I am. The mysterious CEO of Quantum Solutions is mysterious no more, though the story of how I revealed myself has become something of a legend in tech circles. Sometimes, when I'm working late, I look at old photos from those family dinners where they dismiss my work. The contrast between their perception and reality doesn't bother me anymore. Success, I've learned, doesn't need everyone to believe in it. It just needs you to believe in yourself enough to build it quietly, consistently, until it's too big to ignore. Last month, Forbes did a cover story on Quantum Solutions. The title? "The Silent Revolution: How a Freelancer Built a Tech Empire While Nobody Was Watching." I sent copies to everyone in the family. Lisa called as soon as she saw it. "I still can't believe you let us mock your little projects for 5 years while you were building an empire." "Sometimes," I replied, "the best revenge isn't proving people wrong. It's letting them figure it out for themselves, right around the time they realize they need you more than you ever needed them." Mom framed that cover too. It hangs right next to Lisa's VP announcement, a daily reminder that success doesn't always look the way we expect it to. And me? I still work in comfortable clothes when I can, still prefer solving problems to attending galas, still believe that real success is built in quiet moments while others are looking the other way. After all, the next revolution is always built by someone everyone else underestimated, usually while they're too busy laughing to notice.